Okay, hi everybody, welcome to today's open discussion. Thank you, Anamify for the opportunity. So before we go deep into the topic, आज का topic क्या है उसके बारे में I think there was some confusion a little bit. So let me just explain a little bit about the topic and then we can discuss more. So anybody who wants to participate in the conversation, you can raise your hands. Kindly do not interrupt in between. So you will be given an opportunity to speak. Okay. So I remember that a few years ago, when I used to meet a lot of new people during my, when I was working at a particular company. So I was sent on audit to various companies. So I got to meet different people. तो उस समय ऐसा था that every day, every week, I would come back home feeling very different. Okay. Now, why was that? In some situations, I would feel equal to others. In some situations, I would feel that I am less than others. And around some people, I would feel that I'm better off. I'm better than them. I'm better than others. And so the first two, where I felt equal with others, so I would feel pretty satisfied with where I am in life and what I'm doing with my life. And in those interactions where I was better than others, so I felt all the more happier. I felt a greater sense of achievement. But then in those situations where I felt less than others, that was the feeling that always left me thinking that I want to be more. I'm not enough who I am and with what I do or where I am in my life right now. I need to be more than this. And as I used to sit and think about them, that why did I feel this way, or what is it that they have which I don't have, because of which I'm feeling less than them. So then I would write down so many things, that maybe somebody just purchased an apartment with the poolside view, somebody got a really fancy car, so I don't have this and I don't have that. But then there were also certain things which were well within my financial capacity to buy, but I would still not, because as I would decide to buy it, there was a voice within me that would say that I'm not there yet in life to be deserving to buy this. I'm not there yet in life that I should deserve this happiness. So then I would deliberately not celebrate my birthdays a few years. I would deliberately deprive myself of all the things which I know I can do very well within my capacity, but I will still not do it, because I feel that no, this is not something that maybe I should do. Because deep down I felt that I have not earned it enough. And who told me this? These are the stories that I told myself. So that brings us to today's topic, that is self-worth something that I need to earn by putting more efforts in my career, by putting more efforts in the way I look, by looking more glamorous, by working out more? So, do I need to be more in order to feel worthy and in order to be worthy? Okay, so this is the topic that we'll be talking about today. Okay, so one of the things that happened after all of these interactions was that I had another interaction with one person who told me that you have to be the hardest working person that you know. And if you're not the most hardworking person that you know, then you're not doing something right in life. So now this was a this triggered me on a whole different level, that I started feeling very unworthy, that clearly I'm not the hardest working person I know. I sleep 9 hours because my body requires 9 hours of sleep. I spend a lot of time in leisure. I spend time to take walks. I spend time to go out on vacations. So I'm clearly not the hardest working person that I know. Then he said, then you're not living your best life, or you're not doing the right thing in your life. And then any day, no matter how hard I work during the day, at the end of the day when I see my maid the next morning, she will always remain the most hardworking person that I know. Correct? Because any day she is working much more harder, maintaining a family, working in 9 to 10 houses. She doesn't even take a chutti on Sunday. So if I measure by that a person who's working continuously, and she's any day the most hardworking person I know, and no matter what I do, I don't think I can ever match her level of energy or what she's doing. Correct? So now this brought me to the understanding that no matter how many boxes I check, okay, that do I have to earn more, do I have to buy that fancier car, do I have to dress better, do I have to buy that shade of lipstick, this box checking is never going to end. Or even if it ends, let's say, okay, to feel better I go and purchase that dress, or I do something that somebody else has, that feeling is temporary, that feeling itself is not sustainable. Then you will have a new set of checklist to start feeling good again, or to start feeling worthy again. Correct? So we have to move from this journey of feeling this way into feeling more secure with who we are and feeling more safe with who we are. Okay, so this is the journey that I undertook when I came on board with Anamify, and this is how I actually started understanding all these terms, and I started moving from a place of insecurity to a place of safety with who I was, and complete in acceptance with where I am in life and where I need to go. Okay, so this is about the topic. I have a few more pointers to share, but at this point, I'd like to know if any of you have any experiences that you would want to share or anything to ask. You can raise your hand.
So I have previous experience in my work.
You're on mute.
Yeah, yeah. So I heard, I've seen my colleagues who try to be very close to the managers and try to be very चापलूसी करते थे कि शायद इसकी वजह से वो लोग उनकी फेवर आ जाए आगे बढ़ने के लिए। तो सो आई वाज फीलिंग दैट लोगों को आगे बढ़ने के लिए या फिर कुछ अच्छा करने के लिए यू हैव टू डू ऑल दीज थिंग्स टू गो अहेड इन प्रोफेशनल लाइफ। तो अब तब से मुझे लगा कि ये आई एम नॉट दैट काइंड ऑफ अ पर्सन हु कैन डू ऑल दीज थिंग्स so that I can go forward and get my um, uh, get growth in that company. Even
Okay.
so every company I went, this has happened for every company which I have gone through. चमचागिरी या फिर चापलूसी करते थे मैनेजर्स की, सुपर मैनेजर्स की, शायद उनकी गुड बुक्स में आ जाए तो उसकी उनकी तो उनको फेवर में लेके उनको सारे किया जाए।
Hmm. Okay. And how did you respond to it?
Because no one used to even ask me anything as such, because every person in our process, or whichever company I worked, मुझे साइड हटा देते थे कि जैसे मैं हूं कि नहीं, मुझे दे बिहेव विथ मी लाइक दैट।
Okay. So you used to quit the company. That's what you're saying, and move to the next company.
यस।
Okay.
मुझे लगा लाइक यहाँ मेरा कोई काम नहीं है, ये कंपनी में मैं शायद कुछ मेरा कोई कंट्रीब्यूशन भी नहीं हो सकता। मैं ठीक से सीख भी नहीं सकती किसी से। अगर कुछ भी बोलूं तो शायद मेरी रेस्पॉन्ड भी नहीं करेंगे।
Hmm. Yes. Yes. If we are in an environment wherein we have to pretend like we have to pretend to be somebody that you are not, okay, so that others would like you, so that others would accept you, or even to the extent that others will favor you, then again you're
हम्म,
not in alignment with your values. Correct?
हम्म,
So So yes, that is the right question to ask, that whether I am in an environment that supports my growth, whether it is corporate growth or whether it is personal growth. So yes, that is the right thing to do. That when you see that you are not going to be in alignment with your values, and that is not something uh, which is a part of your core belief and core values, then yes, you will have to look for an organization which matches that value system.
Mm, right.
So now this whole incident, how did it impact your sense of self-worth?
तो मुझे जब भी किसी इंटरव्यू में मैं जाती हूँ तो मैं ठीक से परफॉर्म भी नहीं कर पाती थी कि मेरे अंदर ये बैठ गई कि सारे कंपनीज ऐसे एक जैसे हैं, इधर पॉलिटिक्स होती है, इधर इधर ये इस जैसी बिहेवियर होती है। तो शायद मैं I do not wanted to try in any company after this kind of incident happened to me.
Okay. It's because that you always end up attracting only these kind of, managers or setup.
Right.
Okay. And what is the thing that you fear the most that people will say about you in your company?
That I'm not performing, I'm underperformer, I don't um, I don't get to understand what the process is, where exactly I am in. So I feel little low on that मैं कुछ सीख नहीं पा रही हूँ, अगर सीख रही हूँ तो भी आउटकम नहीं दे पा रही हूँ इस प्रोसेस के लिए।
Okay. Um, I'm not sure if you are somewhere confusing the concept of being confident and feeling worthy. क्योंकि if you are talking on the level of developing those skills, then that comes under the area of confidence. So today we are talking about building self-worth. So self-worth is more like a foundation that you have. ठीक है? It is the perception of how you think about yourself, how worthy you feel. एंड कॉन्फिडेंस इज कि फाउंडेशन पहले आपने बना दिया, अभी उसके ऊपर जो आप बिल्डिंग बनाओगे, बिल्डिंग को आप कैसे इंटीरियर्स के साथ सजाओगे। जैसे कुछ बिल्डिंग्स ऐसे होते हैं कि बाहर से भी उसका इंटीरियर्स कितना शानदार लगता है, दे हैव शैंडिलियर्स एंड दे हैव सो मेनी फ्लावरिंग प्लांट्स, तो बाहर से भी उनके इंटीरियर्स बड़े शानदार लगते हैं। तो that is the interiors and everything else. So that is the confidence that is maybe displayed outside based on how we perform, based on how we communicate, based on our skill set. But self-worth is the foundation that this is how I value myself and this is how I see myself. So then confidence is the quality, it is the value that you build on top of it. So your house will only be as strong as, or as safe as, or as secure as your foundation that it is built upon.
Right.
So this reminds me of one experience. So I just told you that I would make a list and I would feel like I don't deserve this, I don't deserve that, and I'm not there yet in life, I'm not like others. बहुत ऐसी चीजें मैं अपने आप को बोलती थी. One occasion I went to my friend's house, and so my friend's mother, she was diagnosed with diabetes at a very young age. So those days getting diabetes by the age of 30, 33, it was a big thing actually. So every day she would take medications, every day she would inject herself. तो उस टाइम पे ये like बहुत बड़ी बात होती थी. And she has not even done her graduation, my friend's mother. So she's not even done her graduation. उनको इंग्लिश बोलना नहीं आता है. At that time itself, she decided that I cannot cook more than one meal a day and I would be requiring a house help. And this is what I can do. This is the only role that I can play in the household because my health does not support more than this. तो ठीक है, तो my friend's father, he hired a house help to do the cooking and the other things. लेकिन तभी भी घर में बहुत सारे बाकी काम भी होते थे. So on one occasion when I was at my friend's house, so my friend's father, he just, he spoke to her in a little harsh way कि तुम मुझे रोटी दे रही हो लेकिन ये तो देखो कि मेरे कटोरी में दाल खत्म हो गया है. तो he spoke to her in a very harsh way in front of all of us. So she came out and she just told him कि प्यार से जितना मर्जी मेरे से काम करा लो, अगर आप ऐसे बात करोगे, मैं जो काम मैं करने वाली हूं ना, मैं वो भी नहीं करूंगी. So now, since at that point of time, I was myself, a very unhealed version of me, तो मुझे उनका बिहेवियर उस टाइम पे ना बहुत ज़्यादा एरोगेंट लगा, बहुत ज़्यादा सेल्फिश लगा कि एक तो इनके पास हाउस हेल्प है एंड शी इज़ नॉट अर्निंग एनीथिंग एंड बट स्टिल इतना काम करने को भी ऑल दैट शी वाज आस्क्ड वाज फॉर द दाल एंड दैट आल्सो शी बिहेव्ड सो एरोगेंटली. But today when I look back, मुझे ऐसा I feel really happy that she was a woman. She never attached any of these things to her worth. She did not think कि अरे I'm not educated, I don't know how to talk English, I'm not earning well enough, and nothing like that. She was like ठीक है, whatever it is, I don't deserve this kind of treatment, I don't deserve to be spoken to in this way. तो अगर आपको ऐसे बात करनी है तो आपको मेरे से कोई सर्विस नहीं मिलेगा, जो मैं करने वाली हूँ भी ना वो भी आपको नहीं मिलेगा. एंड आई वॉज लाइक एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम मुझे लगा वाओ, हाउ कैन somebody बी सो entitled. So she is not at all grateful for all the help that she is receiving. So somebody who's unhealed will always view that kind of person as selfish, or that kind of person as very arrogant or egoistic. But today I understand the place that she was talking from. Ki even if I'm not this and this and this, but still my inherent value is that I am worthy and I deserve to be respected. And it came from a place of I respect myself. तो when it came from that place, उसके बाद मैंने कभी ऐसे नहीं देखा anybody disrespecting her on any occasion. इनफैक्ट कितने मैंने अपने बाकी फ्रेंड्स के घर पे देखा है जहाँ पे औरतें they are well educated but the house setup still feels that it is male dominated, the family dynamics. but इनके घर में मुझे लगता था कि इतना opposite कैसे है. How come this woman, she doesn't earn, she's not educated, I mean nothing that maybe we women have even accomplished, but still her parameter and where she was on her self love journey was somewhere else. And she's one person who greatly inspires me that I am enough, I am enough the way I am and who I am. So that should be actually the point of our journey, that I accept myself where I am. तो आप जो बोल रहे हैं कि I'll become an underperformer or I'll become a this, so first you have to assess that is it coming from my abilities to not be able to perform or to match what is being expected from me? Is it linked to that productivity, or from where is this coming? Amrita?
Right. Yes, Prerna. Yeah, I'll check with it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anamika, you want to say anything?
You pretty much explained it well, Prerna. So I'll be repeating the same thing. So I'll just try to use, some terms. Let's see if that helps Amrita. So, Amrita, basically, there are two dimensions of us. Okay. One is a vertical dimension and one is a horizontal dimension. Now, what do we mean when we use the word vertical dimension? It simply means the relationship that we have with our own selves. Okay, so the self relationship we are talking about. Now, about the horizontal dimension, the relationship that we have with anybody and everybody, and workplace, romantic relationships, family, everything in the outside external world that we come in contact with. That we count as the horizontal dimension. Okay. Now, in the vertical dimension, how you what you believe and how you talk to yourself, how you deal with yourself, how you look at yourself is something which is the guiding force in the um, external environment, the horizontal dimension that we have. So when it comes to our self-worth, right? So when you were born, you came in this world, or even when you were not born, right? Before birth, after birth, whenever. So there's no such thing as a measurement which can tell us, if this person is this much worthy. So let's suppose, if we talk about the innate worthiness, there's no such thing like, you can say you are more worthy than me, I'm more worthy than you, or somebody else is more worthy than me. In the innate sense, we all are valuable for what we are, where we are, and what we are doing. वो हो गई हमारी inner reality. ठीक है? In there, there's no such thing like a calculation about worth or not. But when it comes to the horizontal dimension, because it is more tangible, it is more material, it can be calculated, we have to deal with people, and different things come into picture. So उसमें अभी ये नहीं हो सकता ना कि you think that you're worthy enough inside, so you'll just sit on the couch and okay, now I'm worthy, so everything should come to me, right?
Hmm.
That is the sense of feeling that you have. And because you have that sense of feeling, you also know that you're capable enough to participate in this external environment, right? To do your part in the external environment because you are worthy enough. And with that guidance system, you go out and you play your part. At times in life, you will, uh, you know, get things the way you want them. At times, you'll not get things the way you want them. Outcomes in this horizontal dimension are basically not completely in our control, but doing our acts is in our control, right? And none of it in the horizontal dimension can be described as your how much value you have as a person. However, it can definitely determine how valuable you are at workplace, how valuable you are in relationships, how valuable you are in this setup that we are trying to live here. We're actually living here, right? So both of these things, one is a guidance system to the other, but they are not directly interrelated to each other. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes, Anamika.
Okay. Yeah. Over to you, Prerna.
Okay. Anybody else has anything to add?
Well, the story that was shared about life at work, uh, this has happened to me also a couple of times. But then when I reflect, I also see that what about who was the common denominator? If I switch from organization to organization, people to people, then it is me who is the common denominator among all. So how do you justify that we should not think like this, or if this is a just thought? What's your take on this one?
Yeah, that's a very nice, realization. So, um, this is the, shift that we all have to make. So when you say that you are the common denominator everywhere, so you received a certain response from each of your workplace, and in your case, and also in Amrita's case, that response or that behavior that you received was not favorable, it was unfavorable. And then that made you guys feel less appreciative of your qualities or what you contribute as an employee to that organization. So somewhere we can also say that you have the tendency to rely more on external validation. Is that making sense, Ritesh?
Yes, yes, very much. Very much.
Yes. So now, when we start relying more on external validation, we cannot immediately jump from that state into the state of self-appreciation. Okay, so it is that entire journey that you have to take, because there are so many blocks. Before we start appreciating ourselves, we have to accept ourselves for who we are and where we are. We have to be at peace with who we are and where we stand in life. So when we actually take that healing journey, we become aware of our patterns, we become aware of our long standing conditioning that we have acquired over the years. So this behavior of not appreciating yourself, or doubting your abilities, now all these things are something that we learn. Like, I remember when I was a child, my parents say that I would never hesitate in asking. So if we would go somewhere, so if I'm really hungry and I want a second serving, I would not bother whether it looks appropriate. I would ask that, I'm still hungry. I would like another serving of this kheer, or I would like another serving of rice. So I would never hesitate. But over the period of time, what I was taught, the conditioning that I started developing, so that actually developed more. It strengthened and it became my core belief. And then after a point, I started operating from that. So when you start your healing journey, the first step is exactly what you said, that you realize that you are the common denominator, that it may not be happening with everybody else, but somewhere you in that setup, you are triggering that kind of setup, and you attract this kind of a circumstance every time. So when we actually come to that realization, we become aware of our patterns, we become aware of our conditioning, and that gives us an opportunity to challenge those belief system. Then that, okay, so if this is my belief system, so am I going to challenge it? Is this serving me? Is this in my best interest? Is this bringing out the best in me? So this is just understanding things at this level. Okay, and then we go deeper and we try to probe into the root cause, that if I'm being treated this way, okay, how did I become okay with the behavior like this? How did all this start in me? Did I grow up in an environment where either of my parent or sibling or any senior member in my family, so uh, were they having tendencies of people pleasing? So trying to probe into the root cause of where did I learn this behavior from, or where did I pick this up from? Okay, so when we progress further, then we understand that, okay, now I've been probed into the root cause and I've understood, okay, where did I pick this from? And then we start to actually address the wounds at the mind level. Okay, so we are trying to actually clean the slate and bring it back to an empty slate. So we have many such conditionings. Like, for example, I just told all of you that I would come back home from certain gatherings feeling that, I'm less than others. And when I would actually make a list of why did I feel less than others, it would be mostly because somebody has accomplished something or has some kind of a material possession that I don't have yet. And even when I had the financial resources to buy them, I would still not buy them, because the conditioning that I received from my parents, that you're not supposed to live life in a luxurious way. You're supposed to be mediocre, and that is actually going to make your life satisfying. You're not supposed to be doing this. So somewhere I was not okay with the concept of abundance. I was like, okay, even if I have enough, but I still should curtail my life. So now I had to work on that. So that abundance did not just, the concept of limiting belief did not just now affect one area of my life. So we often think that it only affects one area of our life. In your case, or Amrita's case, so she might be thinking that this only affects one area of my life, and that is, professional side. But no, you can actually see it spiraling and spilling through every other area of your life as well. So in today's topic, we are trying to discuss that God created us as worthy beings. So this is not something that we need to prove, and this is not something that we need to chase. Each one of us is worthy for who we are and where we are and with what we have. So a person who operates from this space, a person who operates from this safe space, so he will not keep, questioning, that will I be able to manage this and will I be able to do that? So because now they have moved into that, from an insecure attachment, they have moved more into a secure attachment, right? So this is that entire journey that you have to take from, this is the entire shift that you have to take from, seeking too much of external validation to feeling safe with who you are. I'm not sure if I answered your question.
Okay, it happened to me like when I joined my first organization. I just had around 1.5 years of experience at that time, just after graduating from the university. So I was posted on some other town, and then I had that boss was quite kind of quite strict, and suddenly some assignments he was given, and then I didn't. It was a bit delayed, and then I was looking for some inputs, and it was not. I had to follow it up a little bit on that. And since I also had a very just joined there, and then almost very low experience. So he suddenly came. I don't know how he suddenly started shouting. I don't know how you I joined into the organization. So this, in fact, this put me a lot of like the backdrop. Like I was just thinking how. In fact, I didn't answer because since I thought by just if I have to start defend, then in that case, then whether it would be taken in a different way. In fact, I should have definitely told him that through a normal selection process, whatever through the campus only I got selected. I don't know why you are asking these questions, but being a fresher, I was not sure whether I should even answer that. So I just kept quiet and came back. But that put me into a lot of stress, mental turmoil, like whether I really am worth for something like that. In fact, I didn't even discuss with anybody, but I was just kept it with myself. But of course, I worked upon it later, and also then switched over to some other few companies. So in that way, how do we deal with this? Like, I think you also narrated one incident that you have to really that lady, the way in which she was defending that, even though she didn't have that kind of qualification or something like that, she definitely was shouting at that person. But again, in a company, we cannot do like that. Correct? We cannot just be kind of vociferous on whether to prove our worth. So how do we handle this kind of things? Of course, this will happen to anyone, like a junior person who is new to the organization and then join that company, and then his boss, even though he didn't mean that, but he had some issues when he started shouting at that guy. So how do we deal with this?
Yeah, a very, very relevant question. So, see, the story that I told you about that lady, so it was in the house setup, and then she was only talking to her husband, with whom she was married for 30 odd years, right? So I am visiting them maybe like 5 years back. So at that point, this lady, she was 54, and from 20 years actually she's living in that setup, and so she didn't mind telling her old husband that this is not how you talk to me. You want me to serve you? Yes, I will serve you, but this is not how you communicate to me. And she was very firm, when she said that she was not angry, or it did not come as a gali. She was very firm that, this is how you ought to talk to me if you want service from me. So I really, like that, quality in her. So what you're saying, experiences like this, so it has a large impact on how we go on to interpret many other, experiences in our life. So what happens is that when we allow experiences like this to affect our worth, so there is a tendency then in us to uplift other people, to elevate other people, to put them on the pedestal. So then when we struggle with this kind of low self-worth, so we will tend to minimize our needs, and we will tend to dissolve the boundaries. And first of all, we will not have boundaries, and even if we are having, so we will not be very firm with our boundaries. So we will want to go out of the way, maybe to please them because they are our seniors, and in the process we don't take a stand up for ourselves. So even in the case that Amrita was saying, that maybe she's not wanting to favor the management, चापलूसी उनको नहीं करनी है, but at the same time, again, you have to be strong enough to set that boundary for yourself, that I'm not willing to do this. I would want to work in this way. This is my work ethic, and this is what I want to follow. Like, I remember once in my workplace, we had some clients come over from Singapore, and every other day they would go out for coffee, they would go for high tea, and I would never be invited because I was a fresher. But one evening there was a wine party. अब वाइन पार्टी के लिए पता नहीं क्यों उनको लगा कि एक लड़की भी साथ में रहेगी तो बढ़िया रहेगा. तो I was told that there's a wine party, so why don't you join us? It was a late evening wine party, and I refused. I said no, I'm not comfortable for a late evening party. And then they said, keeper, they have come all the way from Singapore. I said they could have spared time for a coffee with me, for a tea with me. My work timing gets over at this time, so I'm leaving. And उस टाइम पे they called in the HR to advise me, and I told the HR कि देखो, ऋतिक रोशन भी आके मुझे बोलेगा कि 10 बजे आपको जाना है वाइन पार्टी के लिए, मैं नहीं आऊंगी. तो ये तो सिंगापुर के क्लाइंट है, आई एम नॉट कंफर्टेबल. तो उस टाइम इट वाज कंसिडर्ड दैट ये फ्रेशर है, एंड ये ऐसी बात बोल रही है. बट आई वाज वेरी फर्म. आई डिड नॉट पुट इट अक्रॉस इन अ वेरी एंग्री वे, और रादर इन अ वेरी इंसल्टिंग वे. आई जस्ट टोल्ड कि देखो ऐसा है, ऋतिक रोशन भी आके बोलेगा तो मैं मना ही करने वाली थी, ये तो फिर भी सिंगापुर के क्लाइंट्स है. तो they took it in a very humorous way, because they saw that I did not feel insulted that they had not called me for the tea party and for the coffee party and for a lunch at they went for a lunch at Taj, and they didn't invite me. तो इतना सब कुछ हुआ, and they were aware of all these things, and because I didn't bring that up and I did not make it sound that oh I felt insulted कि आपने मुझे यहाँ पे तो नहीं बुलाया, अभी वाइन पार्टी के लिए अचानक से आपको लड़की की याद आ गई, क्यों भाई? तो I did not come from that place. So they did not escalate it at all. तो जैसे I've even heard this talk of Sister Shivani. तो in one of the videos of Sister Shivani, so she tells a story actually, and this is one story that we all have heard, but she gave a very nice twist to the story. तो स्टोरी कुछ इस प्रकार है. शी सेज दैट एक बार एक गुरु जो है अपने शिष्य को एक पत्थर देता है. गुरु गिव्स अ स्टोन टू हिज डिसाइपल एंड टेल्स go out and find the worth of this particular stone. So first he goes and he gives an instruction कि no matter what happens, do not sell the stone. Your job is to only go and find what is the value, what is the worth of this stone. इसको बेचना नहीं है बेटा, don't sell it. ठीक है. तो वो सबसे पहले लेके जाता है एक फ्रूट सेलर के पास कि इसका मुझे बताओ क्या इसका दाम है, इसका वर्थ क्या है. तो फ्रूट सेलर बोलता है कि इसके बदले में मेरे पास बहुत फ्रूट्स है, लेकिन इसके बदले में मैं आपको 1 kg संतरा लगा के दे दूंगा. आई गिव यू 1 kilo oranges in a trade for this stone. And he says okay. Then he moves on to the next vendor, and the next vendor is a vegetable guy, and he says कि मैं आपको 1 घोनी आलू दे दूंगा. I'll give you 1 quintal, 1 entire gunny bag of potatoes for in trade for this one stone. Okay, पर उसको पता था कि बेचना नहीं है, I'm not supposed to sell it, so he keeps going. Then he comes across a jewelry store, a small jewelry store. He goes and then he asks the owner, and the owner says, I'll give you 1 lakh if you give me the stone. So he understands, okay, the person only wanted to give me oranges, and then another person wanted to give me a gunny bag of potatoes. This person is saying 1 lakh. Then he says, okay, I'll go still further and see if the stone has better value than 1 lakh. Then another jeweler, he says कि 50 lakhs, क्योंकि ये stone का अब तो वो मूल्य है. 50 lakhs is what I will pay you if you are willing to give this stone to me. पर उसको तभी भी instruction याद था कि बेचना नहीं है. Okay, then he further goes. Now when he goes to the best jeweler in that city, now that person says, looks at the stone, he examines the stone, he is awestruck, he is in wonder of the stone, and he says कि आप एक काम कर लो, आप मेरी सारी दुकान ले लो, लेकिन उसके बाद भी मैं ये पत्थर खरीद नहीं पाऊंगा, बिकॉज दिस स्टोन इज प्राइसलेस. Even if I give everything that I have, and mind you, I'm the best jeweler in this town, even if I give you everything that I have, I will still not be able to afford this stone because it's priceless. So, and then she says that he comes back to the guru and says ki see, I went, to the santre wala. He only said ki main 1 kilo santra dunga. So like this I went, and then finally this person offered me that. This person said it's priceless, I cannot even think of paying for a stone like this. So then the guru tells that, okay, so like this in life, wait for that one person who will come and give you your true worth, and who will show you what your true value is. Okay, so this is where the story ends. And then the moral of the story, what Sister Shivani, what she says is that, and that one person who will give you the value, the worth of your life, that person is you yourself. That person is not somebody. That person is not, you don't give the calculator in another person's hand कि calculate करके बताओ तो संतरे का वैल्यू है, एक घोनी आलू का वैल्यू है, 1 लाख है, 50 लाख है, या प्राइसलेस है. You do not give the calculator in anybody else's hands. So she says that person is you only. So the what you said, Akilan, that your manager at that point of time, he behaved with you in that way, and you felt a little hurt. You felt disrespect in that moment. So it is quite possible that people value you from their financial status, from their motive. So that should not be how you also see yourself. So this is where self-worth comes into picture. So people see your value or your worth from their perspective. Is this making sense, Akilan?
Yeah, I mean to say that. So you mean to say that we have to evaluate ourselves and see where we stand. Correct? Is it what you are telling? Okay. Like whether.
Yeah. So in that particular talk, so the person who was interviewing her. So these actually this video that I'm talking about, this was something I think that was that happened during the lockdown actually. It was Vivek Oberoi's father, Suresh Oberoi, who was actually interviewing her. So he also puts across a similar question to her that is it all about this? And then she actually she speaks about a very beautiful concept called she says that whenever somebody says something to us, the first thing that happens is that we feel disrespected. We feel that किसी ने हमारी respect नहीं की है. ये मेरी respect होनी चाहिए, पर सामने वाले ने मुझे वो दी नहीं है. तो she said कि 2 चीजें होनी चाहिए हमें. एक है स्वमान और दूसरा है सम्मान. ठीक है. अब सम्मान वो होता है जो दूसरे हमें देते हैं. ठीक है. और स्वमान वो होता है जो हम खुद को देते हैं. That I value myself with, I'm a fresher, I've just joined this company with barely maybe a few days of experience, with only my experience of attending college and some internship experience. या चलो वो भी नहीं है, but I respect myself, I respect my journey of life, I respect my resources, my abilities, I respect who I am. ठीक है. तो वो स्वमान है. ठीक है. और सम्मान वो है जो दूसरे हमें देते हैं और हम उसको परसीव करते हैं कि ये इंसल्ट है, ये डिसरिस्पेक्ट है. और जब ये स्वमान की कमी होती है ना हम में, तो शी सेज कि उससे या तो 2 चीजें होती है, या तो अभिमान बीच में आ जाता है, या तो अपमान बीच में आ जाता है. ओके. अभिमान इज ईगो. ओके, कि हाउ डिड दिस पर्सन से दैट टू मी, डज ही नॉट नो हु आई एम, या फिर हमें लगता है कि सामने वाले ने हमारा अपमान कर दिया. वी फाइंड इट वेरी इंसल्टिंग, और वी फाइंड इट वेरी डिसरिस्पेक्टफुल. तो शी गोज ऑन टू एक्सप्लेन कि उस मिनट में दैट पर्सन was viewing you to some filters, and in that minute that person chose to define you that way. It does not mean that either now that person could always behave like that with every person, या फिर उस मिनट में, उस क्षण में उस इंसान में, उस पर्सन में वो चीज की कमी थी, वो पर्टिकुलर संस्कार की कमी थी. इन योर केस मे बी योर मैनेजर डिड नॉट हैव दैट पेशेंस. मे बी उनमें उस दिन या उस क्षण आपसे इंटरेक्शन करते टाइम वो एक पेशेंस की कमी थी, बिकॉज ऑफ विच, वो कमी के कारण, बिकॉज ऑफ विच it came across as that way, and you somehow made it that it is an issue about your inherent self-worth.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So when we talk about self-worth and today's topic, it is all about this, that I need not earn it, or I need not do more or be more. So now, like Anamika said, this is nothing to do with the skills that we all, need to grow in life, in our workplace, or to grow our personality. This is not that. This worthiness is that God created us to be worthy.
Actually, actually, in project management perspective, they say don't do goal plating. So whatever is possible, do it. Don't do any extra thing to add to that. That's what normally they say. But again, sometimes I will say it's maybe a bit required to go to walk that extra mile to complete the project or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything that you would like to add, Akarma?
No, nothing. I think you are answering it well enough. कुछ ऐसे अलग से तो नहीं आ रहा है बोलने के लिए.
Okay.
If I will, then I will add. Yeah.
Okay. Ritesh, you wanted to respond to that question that you asked. I saw your mic was on at some point. Okay. Anybody else wants to add anything, share anything?
Prerna, this is Akilan again. This self-worth also, like it's almost like we discover ourselves, like it's like self-discovery or whatever. Because we do some kind of a SWOT analysis and then say, this is what I'm worth for, or this is where I should improve, something like that, or oppositely.
हाँ, ये तो अभी अभी अनामिका ने क्लैरिफाई किया था ना कि ये मेजरेबल नहीं है. This is not measurable.
Yeah, but at least within our professional framework, okay, this is what I could do, this is what I can do, this is what I need. Because now we have this kind of a performance appraisal. So where we have evaluated with various yardsticks, like we have, say, create and innovate value for customers, so go beyond. So a lot of behaviors where we are evaluated for, and since being we also have a lot of people reporting to us, so we have to evaluate them. So within some framework, yes, we really need to do some kind of a self-analysis or introspection, like this is where I find that I am worth, and this is where I should improve myself. So I think that would help, no, like to really know where we are with respect to this.
नहीं, ये टॉपिक सेल्फ वर्थ में नहीं आएगा. ये टॉपिक आएगा टू मेजर योर प्रोडक्टिविटी. ये टॉपिक आएगा टू मेजर हाउ इफेक्टिवली यू आर यूटिलाइजिंग योर टाइम. बट दैट डजंट मेक यू एनी लेस वर्दी एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग. If a person is not performing well enough at work, if a student is getting bad grades, in my friend's case, a housewife who's not able to actually manage the entire household affairs, and she has a house help. She has a house help to do everything. She only cooks once a day. It does not affect her worthiness in any way. All these things are measures of how productive a person is, how efficiently and effectively they can utilize their time, their resources, their energy, their qualities, their skill set, and all of this. You can measure somebody's productivity, you can comment on how well they utilize their time. That does not in any way make them less worthy as a human being. I hope I answered
In
you,
fact,
Akhilan. Yes, Anamika.
no, I was just about to say that if we all, go on a visit to a school, a kindergarten school, which has like 50 students, 50 small children who are, you know, um, 3 years, 4 years old, and they're all trying to learn ABCD, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are some children who learn it faster. There are some children who learn it later. But can any of us say that that the child who has learned it faster is more worthy than the child who learns it later? I mean, I'll ask this to Akilan only because he asked that question. There are two child, let's suppose, Tinny and
Yeah,
Mimi. So
yeah,
is
Anamika. In
Tinny
that,
who learned it? Hmm?
sorry. So in this scenario, definitely it will be the normal. Our normal system evaluates that okay, that person A is a faster learner, so they will definitely grade him better than the person B, who is a slow learner. So
Ah.
this is our
But will you
system.
love the guy with the child with more grades more than the child with lesser grades?
Yeah, from the teacher standpoint, yes, that person who learns
Will
faster.
you? No, leave the teacher, will you?
Yeah, definitely. Even in if I'm there, definitely I will. Definitely, I will rate that person. Love that person who's.
No, I'm not saying if you will rate the person or you will judge the person or you will grade the person. Will you love the child with lesser grades less?
No, it's not like that. I will definitely try to push him to. Definitely would encourage him to learn.
No, nothing encouraging. No, not encouraging or anything. In that moment, there are two very same 3-year-old children standing in front of you. One is blabbering A, B, C, D, and one is like completely, lost. He's still trying hard to say A and maybe slowly catching up on B a little slower. So will you love the slower kid less?
I'm not able to answer this question.
They're small 3-year-old children.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Yeah.
You love them like just like the way they are, trying to, get hold of whatever that is being taught to them, playing, sometimes falling and all that, making mistakes, making a mess in the classroom, doing all of those stuff. Sometimes, very fastly learning also. All of those things the children do.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, Malika, that is fine. But again, if it is the same scenario which is applied in corporate scenario, then in that case, definitely the one who is kind of visible. Like if we say visible means yes, he's at least performs better. Then person only will go fast in the ladder.
So that, of course, that will happen. Of course, the person who is working better than you, who's smarter than you, maybe smarter in a crooked sense. Maybe somebody is a thief, right?
Yeah.
Let's suppose somebody is a scammer. Okay, somebody is whatever they do to make tons of money. Or maybe there's somebody who's very smart. Mark Zuckerberg is very smart. Bill Gates is very smart. And, Elon Musk is very lucky and smart and whatever and all that. Of course, all of these factors matter when it comes to, us living in the material reality. Okay? Because obviously, cheese hai ki let's suppose you are an employer. You have two employees in front of them. And you have to get work done through them and all that. So obviously you'll promote the one who's performing better, or maybe somebody who butters you more. So all of these nuances, all of these trades, all of these, plus, minus, subtraction, multiplication, all of the mathematics of life that we talk about, that will happen in reality. That is the whole point of this reality itself, right? Otherwise, what will you do here? What else will you do here? There will be challenges, there will be successes, there will be all sorts of things. But none of those things, right? You can say that, let's suppose there are two people in front of you, one is performing better, or one has more money. You can say that one has more money. Okay, fine. Because he did something to get that money. But that does not mean that he is more of a human being than the other person. Both are human beings. So the innate sense, the inherent sense of who they are, because you cannot take the money away, you cannot take your career away, you cannot take your position away, you cannot take any of these things away with you. All of these are a part of this reality. When you leave the reality, you leave all of these things together because they were part of this reality. But there is something in you, how you look at yourself. What is the relationship that you have with yourself, right? Like those small 3-year-old children, do you love yourself that way? Do you see yourself that way? Do you acknowledge yourself that way? That remains with you, right? And regardless of how much money you have, so somebody who has 10,000 rupees, he thinks that if I have, 1 lakh, and then I'll be happy, and then 10 lakhs, and then I'll be happy, and then 20, and then crore, and then millions, billions, whatever. So this chasing and chasing and chasing goes on in life, right? And these are the things of life. They will keep happening. Things, material possessions, designations, so on and so forth. But if you remember, something in you as a child, it's the same thing in you which is there as somebody who's an adult, as somebody who is 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, right? Something which is just there, which is a constant in you, which is just there, which is you, the innate core of you that we are talking about. That doesn't give a damn whether you have 1 lakh rupees, whether you have 10 lakhs, whether you have a crore, hundreds of crores. You can have that. Of course, based on that, you can enjoy the perks of life. You can lead a comfortable life. You can do all sorts of things and all that. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with going to better positions, better designations, having more money, having more fun. Nothing wrong with any of those things. However, more or less of any of these things are the trade-offs of life. Like those small children who are trying to learn ABCD, we're all trying to play the game here, and we are playing the game here. But at the end, it's about the game is a game, right? The person who's playing the game, that remains a constant. And you may also upgrade yourself. Of course, you will upgrade yourself because that upgradation is a part of the game. So let's suppose you download, some video game on your phone and you play that game, right? And then you get upgrades, you maybe make some purchases and you buy new features and you learn, maybe you had 1 gun and now you have 5 guns. And then you can, become a better soldier in the game. Of course. But then you know, right, that there's somebody who's playing the game. You are not inside your phone. You are playing the phone, right? But anyway, in simpler terms, what I'm talking about, you play the game and at the end you come with yourself and you're like there with yourself. So what is your relationship with yourself? So in life, like you're saying that you will be judged in corporates based on upgrades, how better you perform. Of course you will be, but so you will be judged in the corporate job, but does that make you any less of a person? Do you judge yourself based on that? Only on that? No, I'm asking you, 𝗟𝗶𝗲𝗲𝗓.
Yeah, no, not. There are other factors also that I will definitely consider. Yeah.
What factors do you consider?
Yeah, like for example, it's not leaving this corporate side aside, like some personal side or social factors. So those things also I will consider whether how do I evaluate myself, or how do I evaluate my self-worth.
Okay. Right. And how do you evaluate yourself?
It's I don't know. It's really difficult. Like yeah, either I will have some kind of a checklist with me, like this is where I have to do like this, or this is where I improve, or something like that. Where do I need to improve, or what is my worth, or all these things. I will have some kind of a checklist, and then I will do that evaluation, self-evaluation.
Okay. So you will be worthy if you meet your evaluation criteria. Otherwise, you will just reject yourself.
Not that I will reject myself, and I will try to improve. Like whether I will pursue. I will put efforts to improve.
Okay, that's great. And have there been times where you have not been able to catch up on the checklist?
Yeah.
You have not perfected it.
No. A few times where I was not able to do that. But again, yeah, in fact, I
So
used
in
to
those moments when you could not do that, you are not worthy.
Yeah, I felt like that, but later then I definitely had to move forward. I don't want to stay there. So I definitely wanted to move forward and see if I can, if I can keep it, because that may because normally we work on a projects where it's if we have to move forward. We just keep it a record as a kind of a lessons learned or whatever, and then say this is what has happened. So in this step, you please watch out and then move forward. Yeah, for me, yes, definitely I had definitely failed on that occasion, but again, I definitely will try to work on that. But whether I will be successful or not, definitely I would try to work on that. Yes.
Okay. I'll come back on this after some time.
Okay.
Prerna, yeah, you take it forward.
Okay. So Akhilan, actually we've been discussing, this topic, self-worth. So I'm again coming back that आप somehow इसको ना net worth बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, जबकि हम बार बार सेल्फ वर्थ बोल रहे हैं, लेकिन आप बार बार कैलकुलेटर लेके इसको नेट वर्थ के हिसाब से देखने की कोशिश कर रहे हो.
What
Are you speaking?
What is that? What did you say, Prerna? Net worth? What is that?
हाँ, तो I am saying that today's topic is self-worth.
Okay.
But you are, from a long time trying to tell us that if I do this, then you are trying to actually go in the direction of net worth.
Okay.
It was never about net worth. So self-worth is how do you see yourself? How do you value yourself? It is how do you internalize your worth? उसमें एक्सटर्नलाइज का रोल ही नहीं है. इसीलिए मैंने बार बार बोला, एक बिल्डिंग में, ठीक है, आज आप एक, जहां पे भी आप कौन से शहर में रहते हो, वहां पे बड़ा मॉल है. कैन यू सी द फाउंडेशन ऑफ दैट मॉल? यू डोंट सी द फाउंडेशन. आज जो आपको दिखता है, यू सी अ बिग मॉल, यू सी सो मेनी शॉपिंग कॉम्प्लेक्सेस, यू सी थिएटर्स इन इट, यू सी रेस्टोरेंट्स इन इट. फाउंडेशन कहाँ दिखता है आपको? फाउंडेशन तो अंदर है ना, उसके ऊपर ये सब बना हुआ है, इमारत. तो सेल्फ वर्थ इज दैट इंटरनलाइज्ड वैल्यू where you see your worthiness. It is not external in any aspect, in any dimension.
Yeah, but again, Prerna, see this self-worth. If you see self-worth is, I don't know how do you measure self-worth? But again, I think
हाँ, तो वही तो हम बोलने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि God created all of us with value. God created all of us with inherent, intrinsic worth. Now, each one is unique in their journey of life. Each one has different gifts to offer to the world. And the whole journey of discovering your self-worth or coming to acceptance is understanding that, okay, these are my abilities. Okay, this is the way in which I am unique. And let me celebrate the life that I have with what I have. I can always aspire for more. But I am grateful and I accept myself for who I am. And when I say I accept myself with all the blunders that I've done in the past, with all my failures, with all my mistakes, with everything. जब हम कॉर्पोरेट एम्प्लॉइज की बात करते हैं, तो मे बी अनदर कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ सेल्फ एस्टीम कैन कम, wherein you now try to evaluate your accomplishments. कि ठीक है, I should have got this grade, I should have performed better. So that is a different concept altogether. जहाँ पे आप कंपैरिजन करते हो, जहाँ पे judgments are drawn. But when it comes to self-worth, you as a human being, the way God created you, so there is no scope for judgment.
So you mean to say self-worth and self-esteem are different, two different things, or both are related, or are they not related to each other?
Again, I would say self-worth is the foundation. When you consider yourself worthy just the way you are, okay, then you will also be satisfied with the progress that you are making. For example, सबको पता है कि अगर आपको 10th स्टैंडर्ड में पहुंचना है, तो आपको फर्स्ट, सेकंड, थर्ड सब कुछ पार करके ही आपको 10th स्टैंडर्ड में जाना है. No matter how impatient you get, nobody will promote you. No matter how intelligent you are, nobody will promote you from first standard to 10th standard right away. You will have to pass through all the levels of first to 9th in order to get into 10th standard. So in life, there are different levels that we need to grow on. And each one's journey is different. Each one's path is different. तो वहां पे भी एक्चुअली कंपेयर भी करना है, तो वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ओके, मैं कितना अच्छा कर सकती थी एंड मैंने क्यों नहीं किया, और नहीं किया तो क्यों नहीं किया. मे बी दैट इज अ डिफरेंट टॉपिक ऑल टुगेदर, बट स्टिल दैट विल नॉट मेक मी अनवर्दी. Now what Anamika was trying to explain all this while is that she was trying to help you understand ki how you have to view your true self when she was telling you ki you are the same person in your childhood who was still playing a certain game, and that identity, you are that same person, है ना. So when we bring in the concept of self esteem ki okay, how do I perceive my achievements, so we are looking at it from a third person perspective or a third person point of view ki okay, if I live in a 2 BHK, how is that perceived? If I have this particular car, how will that be perceived? So it is more on a, I would say, egocentric. ठीक है, But when we talk about self-worth, we talk about, okay, God created me as a human being. God created me like this. And I can always endeavor to polish my qualities, whatever I have. अगर मेरे पास हीरा है, हाँ, मैं उसको पॉलिश कर सकती हूँ. And I can go to that person who understands the value of that हीरा. But वो हीरे को आप मिट्टी में भी फेंक दोगे, does it mean उसका अभी वर्दीनेस खत्म हो गया? It is still a diamond. It is always going to remain a diamond. उसको मिट्टी में डाल दोगे तो भी वो डायमंड ही रहेगा. उसको आप ज्वेलरी के दुकान में रहोगे तो भी वो डायमंड ही रहेगा ना. How does it become any less worthy? A diamond will still remain a diamond. So similarly, that particular child जिसको नहीं आ रहा था ABC लिखना या जो mistakes कर रहा था, जिसको नहीं आ रहा था, that 3-year-old child, that child is still worthy. Now this is the skill set maybe the child has to develop. Now that is a different dimension altogether.
I wanted to ask one question to 𝗟𝗃𝗲𝗓. That 𝗟𝗃𝗲𝗓, is there any person in your life whom you love a lot?
Yeah, yes.
Who do you love a lot?
Yeah, of course, it's my mother.
Your mother, right? So can you tell me what is the measurement of your love for your mother?
Yeah, measurement, yeah, it is in terms of caring, yes, but it's not possible to measure that.
Right. So it's not possible for you to measure the love that you have for your mother. When it comes to you loving yourself, it has to be measured. It has to be calculated. It has to be, counted. It has to be, ticked. The check boxes need to be ticked. The check boxes need to be, seen whether you have achieved this, and this is left. Otherwise, you will not love yourself. So how come your love for your mother is immeasurable, but your love for yourself is measurable?
I don't know the answer as of now.
You did the healing mind blocks and all that, no?
Yeah.
You didn't find an answer in that? Because as a child, you didn't say, right, if I don't learn, if I don't get A grade, then I will not be a worthy child. You used to ask for candies like shamelessly as a child. Ki I am hungry, give me candies. It's as simple as that. You never said that, oh, if I don't get good grades, I'm not gonna get candies. Until somebody came and told you that if you don't get good grades, you're not gonna get candies. You did not believe that. Somebody came and told you that if you don't get good grades, you're not gonna get candies. For you were supposed to get all the candies in the world. All children. If you go and if you start observing very small children, they're so free. If they want to dance, they just, they'll go and dance. They'll not think that, oh, what are these people gonna think of me? If they want to sing, if they want to scream, if they want to just sleep, if they want to ask or cry for candies, until somebody comes and tells you, be a good boy. If you don't do this, you will not be accepted. So, what you were talking about, the checklist, the attributes, how you think and how you feel and how you believe and what you What qualities would you like to improve upon? And so on and so forth. All of those things are linked to your self-esteem. But you also know that you're not all of those things. They are just your qualities. If you can have one quality, you can have rather any other quality. It's you have a quality. You are not your quality. You have an attribute. You have a belief. You have all of these things. You are not all of these things. So your self-worth is who you are. And just the way you cannot measure the love for your mom, you cannot measure the the thing which we can say who you are. It's immeasurable. How will you measure that innate, intrinsic, inherent thing which is just there deep inside you? Doesn't matter if it's a 5-year-old 𝗟𝗲𝗯 or 50-year-old 𝗟𝗟𝗯. It's the same thing. Right? Your self-esteem may improve, may change based on how you perceive yourself. You want to do better in life, all of those things. But you have all of those things. You create all of those things. You are not any of those things. Because if there can be good, there will always be bad. If you have $1 million, there will always be people in this world who will have more than $1 million. If you have a happy relationship, there will always be, some couple who will be happier in some area of their life. Let's talk about Elon Musk. He's the richest guy in the world. He's the richest guy in the world. That does not mean he's the happiest guy in the world. Because there is no measurement for that. Maybe he's the richest guy in the world, but we don't know if he's the happiest guy in the world. And there will be plenty of people you may see walking on the roads, you may come across. They're not Elon Musk. They don't have, like they're not richest people in the world, but they're happy. So there are some things which can be measured, the horizontal dimension, and they're supposed to be measured, right? It's just, otherwise functioning in this reality will become very hard, right? So it's a good way to function in reality because we all have got, some job to do. We all have our roles and responsibilities, describing things and all of those things. But all of those things, any of those things, they're just mere things. They come and they go. Not one day remains the same as the other day, but there is something which remains the same in you, which cannot be described. Anyway, I would just like to leave you on the point that if you can have immeasurable amount of love with other people, and if you cannot love yourself the same way, then does that show you that there's something that you need to do about that?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. Over to you, Prerna.
Thanks, Anamika. Those were really great points. Okay. Anu, you had your hand up. You wanted to say something?
Hi Prerna. Actually, the session is really good. So I just wanted to share my self-worth. Once upon a time, I didn't know all these that formal words, but I was like, I thought of it might be anxiety or when the people are commenting about the things, I was accepting and I was believing also. But slowly I started looking back and counting all my works when it comes to professional. Personally, I haven't done that type of exercise. So after starting all this exercise, personally and professionally, I started growing. But recently, after this 8 months of break, a lot of improvement in me, especially related to self-worth. I think last time we had a call also. That time, after that call, I never, thinking about every day, because earlier it was like um, always thinking about the productivity and always calculating about some of the materialistic things. But now, it was a long journey, but I'm accepting myself as I am and just working on to be better. Recently, today's also, I received one message from my closest person. It is also again throwing some stones on my self-worthness, and I didn't reacted. I just responded very calm way and very given the clear message. So why I have taken that decision and why I'm worthy. So I just wanted to share. I'm growing in that way. Earlier, I was also that lot of self doubt and self-worthiness, because if somebody commented, I was easily taking and accepting, and I was overthinking about, even though I was doing not 100%, 1000%, um, polluting my mind, emotions, everything is, I'm getting rid of all those things. Thank you.
Okay, so in other words, you are saying that this time you had your non-negotiables very strong.
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nothing else. That's all. I just wanted to say this. Nothing else. And thank you. Thank you for the session.
okay. Thank you, Anu. Anybody else who wants to add anything or share anything? Okay. Akarma, you want to add anything before we conclude then?
Sorry, I was talking on mute. No, no, still nothing. I think it was very interesting conversation. I enjoyed listening to it today. Mostly मैं ज़्यादा बात करता रहता हूँ, तो आज थोड़ा back foot पे to listen to this conversation was really good.
Okay.
Nothing to say. So,
Okay. Okay, thank you everybody for joining in today and sharing your perspectives. Okay, so I just want to summarize by saying that the way that I perceived my self-worth a few years ago when I was a teenager or in my 20s is very different from how I perceive it today. Okay, what I believed. So at that point of time, whatever experiences that I had and whatever happened to me, it was all because I believed I was worthy of that mistreatment at that point of time. I had certain conditioning that मेरे साथ तो ऐसा ही होएगा, मेरे साथ तो ऐसा ही होना चाहिए क्योंकि बार बार हुआ है, पहले भी हुआ था, इसने भी किया था, उसने भी किया था, अगला भी यही करेगा, ठीक है? So that was the conditioning. So I believed I was worthy of that. Okay, so that was how I perceived my self-worth. And today, and even before I started the healing journey, the way I perceived my self-worth was very different. And today, after completing 3 levels of journey with Anamify, and I completed the laser coaching certification program. So today, what I believe my worth is very different from how I was perceiving it all throughout my life. Okay, so what adding to what Akilan said, that this is something how we perceive it will always change when we start our healing journey, when we start participating in our healing journey, and when we take the journey seriously. Okay, so our perception of it will change. regarding what we believe we are worthy of. And it is not something that others are going to tell you, and it is not something that you can calculate also. It is simply what you believe you are worthy of on this earthly plane. It could be possessions, it could be experiences, it could be anything. What do I believe that I'm worthy of? So on that note, we will conclude today's call. Thank you everybody for joining in.
Thank you.
Great.
Everyone, good night.
Thanks
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks,
Good talk.
Prerna.
Bye.
Thank you.